And said, understandest thou what thou readest?
So I'm coming to you just like I'm coming to you. Hey, you understand that you Israel? Do you understand the Bible and what you're supposed to be doing? And what did our forefathers say? Read.
And he said, how can I, except some man should guide me?
No, he said, you know what? I'm going to level up. I'm going to learn by myself. How Jesus is beside me in the blood of Jesus. What did he say?
How can I, except some man should guide me?
He said the only way that he's going to understand the scriptures, that he's Israel and that he needs to keep what commandments to keep, he needs to do what? What does he need to do?
How can I, except some man should guide me?
What does that mean? I'm checking. Right. You have to make someone that is keeping the laws as an Israelite teach you. Now, brother, do you know that you Israel and your beautiful family? You have to let other people of renown teach you. So my question to you is, what is your plans next Sabbath? What do you plan on doing? What are you going to put in your little journal? Typically women have journals, right? They journal things, a diary or whatnot. They're like, oh, my man did this, man, and my husband did this. Huh? What are you going to put for what next week's Sabbath? You don't know? All right. Let me give you something in the middle, the middle ground. Malachi 3 and verse 16. I know you can at least, you can do that one. You can congregate. These brothers, although they look intimidating, right, it's for a reason. But with that said, read this.
Malachi chapter 3 and verse 16.
Bring it out.
Then they that feared the Lord.
Those sisters that feared God, that really said, hey, I'm an Israelite and I want to make it to God's kingdom. Read.
Spake often one to another.
They spoke often one to another. So guess what? And is it speaking to, when it says spoke often one to another, does that mean you calling Pookie from Chi-Town? Is that calling Tyrone? So who's it calling?
You gotta call your sister's light.
Your sister's light. So who should you be calling?
That I identify with.
You see that number right there? That's that number that you should be calling.
Right.
Read that again. Let me check it again.
Then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another. And the Lord hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord and thought upon his name.
Those are the brothers and sisters that the Most High remembers. That he's like, okay, I'm not going to put her to death. I'm not going to put him to death because he was in the body. He was keeping the commandments. Right? So I would, what do you call it? The scriptures would strongly recommend that you give that number a call. Right? Because right now you've been marked. And guess what? Right now, moving forward, anything that you say or do, if you're in the midst of sin, do you think that the Most High or the Lord will be listening to you? No. No, that's according to the scriptures. Can you get that for me? John 9 and 31. If you are moving forward, if you're not applying, because I gave you the milk. I just gave you just like, how was it in, with Paul, where he said you can't eat things that have died of itself and meat with blood and so on and so forth. It was the simple things that I know you can digest. We gave you, or the Lord gave you, simple things that you can digest so that you can apply that. Now, if you choose to not call, or you choose to not congregate, right, this is what happens. Read that.
John chapter 9 and verse 31.
Bring it out!
Now we know that God heareth not sinners.
Do you know what sin is? What is sin? Alright, exactly. So not keeping commandments. So it's a commandment, as we brought up in Leviticus 23 and verse 2, is to keep the Sabbath day and to congregate. Right? It's a commandment for you to speak often one to another. Read that again.
Now we know that God heareth not sinners.
So if you're not doing those things,
I think I just gotta get my
and that's a big. If you're not scared for yourself, you should be scared for your son. This is your son, right? Right? Because you're his protector. And what?
Now we know that God heareth not sinners. But if any man be a worshiper of God and doeth his will, him he heareth.
So those sisters that say, okay, you know what? I'm going to put aside my worldly ways, right? I'm going to come and congregate. I'm going to call. I'm going to put on a dress. that's who the Lord will listen to.
Right. That's right.
Right? And that's how your son will be raised up.
Right. That's right.
Because now you're going to be able to pass, you're going to speak to other sisters or other male figures within the body, and they're going to say, you know what, sis, this is what you should be doing. This is what you're not supposed to be doing.
Wake up.
Right? Have you heard Deuteronomy 6 and verse 7? Read this. Because remember, at the beginning I said that, I referenced that the Bible teaches you that you're supposed to teach on a regular basis. Right? How are you going to understand you Israel and what things to do unless you have someone teaching you?
Right.
Right? You see how the laws go on top of one another? Right? So when you hear this,
Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 7.
Bring it out.
And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
you're supposed to teach the laws diligently to your sons. But my question to you, if you ain't calling, if you ain't congregating, how are you going to be able to teach them other than, oh, Christ is black? Right? So his ability to grow is dependent on you for now.
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. And